Hello children, how are you all? So we have ended the topic of challenges in improving agricultural products. Today we are starting a new topic, adaptations. Adaptations in various ecological systems. So that is a new topic for today. We'll see what are adaptations of different organisms, starting from desert organisms. First of all, let us understand what is an adaptation. Adaptation is nothing but structural change in an organism. Structural change in an organism. To adjust itself to its living environment. For example, I'll say you the example of mangrove plants. Mangroves, cypress plants grow in marshy areas. They usually grow in marshy areas. What do you mean by marshy areas? Waterlogged areas. Okay. So these plants will not be able to get air to the roots. Okay. For the plant to grow well, soil should have air. Why? Roots breathe. Roots breathe. If this root breathing is not possible, the plant will not be able to grow well. You have known that farmers usually plow the soil before they sow the seeds. Why? What is the reason? There should be proper aeration in the soil. If there is proper air that is present in the soil, then only the roots will be able to take the oxygen from the environment. And then they are able to grow well. This root respiration is very essential for the plant to grow. But in case of mangroves and cypress, they live in marshy areas and there is no chance for respiration of roots. So what do these plants do is, these plants developed special type of roots for breathing. Those special roots are called as aerial roots. There are various names for this aerial roots, like they are also called as breathing roots. Breathing roots. They are also called as pneumatophores. They are also called as knees. Okay, they are called as aerial roots because, so if this is the soil which is marshy, the roots that help it to anchor it to soil, that means fix it to the soil, are present here already. Apart from that, these roots which are present aerially help in a respiration of these plants. Okay, they help in root respiration. Apart from the roots that fix the plant into the soil, there are some extra roots that grow out of the soil. Since these roots are growing in the air, not in the soil, that's why they are called as aerial roots. Since these roots help in root respiration, they are called as breathing roots. Okay, or respiratory roots. Breathing roots or respiratory roots. And if you see very carefully, just like our knee bends here, this roots are bending here, which help the tree to balance itself. So that's why they are called as knees. Okay, pneumato, the word pneumato is related to breathing. Okay, that is the word pneumato means related to breathing. That's why it is called as pneumatophore. These are the various names for these extra roots that grow in the mangrove plants as well as cypress plants. So this is one example for adaptation. In no other plants this is seen, but this is seen in mangroves and cypress plants which grow in marshy areas. So this is a structural change that is seen in these plants so that it can survive well in these living conditions, that is in the marshy areas. This type of changes which are seen in the body of the organism so that it can survive itself in its environment is called as adaptation. Okay, suppose let us see some examples of xerophytic plants. Xerophytic plants. Can you give me the examples of xerophytic plants? Do you know any xerophytic plants? What do you mean by xerophytic plants? Yeah, desert plants. Desert plants are also called as xerophytic plants. Example for xerophytic plants are xerophytic plants are also called as succulent plants. Succulent plants. These plants usually grow in desert areas. Okay, they can grow in desert areas. But if you bring these plants in any other tropical environment, they'll be able to grow. Okay, it's not that they can't grow in any other areas. You might have seen many people growing opuntia plants in their garden, cactus plants, aloe vera plants. These are all succulent plants. Okay, why they are called as succulent plants? Because their stem has capacity to store water. Their stem has capacity to store water. Usually what is seen in all other plants is leaves are spread, they are green in color and they transpirate. Water is lost from the stomata. But in case of these succulent plants, leaves are reduced to spines. Did you see on the opuntia plant there are small thorns? These thorns that are present on the cactus are actually leaves. They are reduced into small spine-like structures. So this type of structural change for its survival is an example for adaptation. So I will not be saying you each time this is an adaptation. Now onwards you will be understanding. So these are the different adaptations that are seen in organisms. So this is one example that leaves are changed into spiny structures and stems are green. They perform photosynthesis and they store water. Since leaves are reduced to spines, now there is no transpiration loss, water is not lost, no stomata, no water loss, no stomata, no water loss. In this way water is stored. Whatever the water that is taken by the stems is stored in the vacuoles. They have large number of vacuoles. The stems have large number of vacuoles. Large number of vacuoles. Since they have large number of vacuoles, they store a lot of water in the stem. So you need not water the succulent plants every time. Like other plants, you need to water other plants at least twice a day, morning and the evening. But in case of succulent plants, even if you provide it water once in a week, it will be able to survive. So this type of condition is called as xerophytic condition. That means it can be able to survive even if it does not get so much of water. Okay, it can survive in other climatic conditions also. But what is its specialty is it can survive in very xeric conditions. That means dry conditions where there is no water. Okay. Other examples of plants that store water in the stem is baobab plants. Baobab is a very long tree. You might have seen the palm trees which are very tall and they have leaves like this. But in case of leaves like this, baobab trees will have very long trunk which is very fat. And it has a bushy foliage, leaves all at somewhere at the top. Okay. It is at a very great height. It's a very tall plant with a very fat trunk. Why does it have that much fat trunk is, it stores water in this trunk. It stores water in its trunk. Okay. It does not leave any extra water like all other plants leave. I said you in the previous lesson, for 1000 particles of water, plant uses only one particle, remaining 999 ml of water is lost as transpiration. But in case of these plants, all those extra water is stored in the stem for future use. Okay. So this is one more example. And if you see pebble plants are also desert plants. Okay. If you see from a distance, they look like pebbles. You will not understand that they are plants. Okay. So these leaves of these plants are not green colored. Since they are not green colored, they will not be identified as plants. There are no holes, no stomata, no water loss. Okay. Since they are not green color, no animal comes to feed these leaves or pebble plants. Okay. And in the middle there is a slit which helps it receive the sunlight. Okay. Sunlight enters into these plants through these slits. Plants receive the sunlight, and by using the energy from the sunlight they grow. And these leaves store water, but they are not eaten by any animals. No animals eats it because it's not green in color and no organism identifies it to be a plant. Okay. Okay children, in our next class we'll be studying about the adaptations that are seen in desert animals. Okay. Bye for now.
Plants adapted to deserts. In this module, you will learn how plants adapt to deserts. This vacation, Sid and Alicia have come to visit a desert with their parents.
The desert is such a hot and dry place. It seems there is no water here.
Yes, but see, there still are plants around here.
Kids, the deserts receive very little rainfall, because of which they have very little water, and that too very deep underground. In spite of such scarcity of water, deserts do have plants. Are you wondering how these plants survive in deserts? Cactus, palm, and acacia are the most common plants found in deserts. These desert plants have special adaptations, which help them to survive in such dry conditions of a desert. Let's discuss these adaptations by considering the example of a cactus plant. A cactus plant has a thick green stem. The thick stem stores water in it when water is available. This stored water helps the plant to survive when water is not available. In addition, the stems also have a waxy coating, which prevents the loss of water from them. You can also notice that a cactus has no leaves. Actually, the leaves in cactus are reduced to spines. This is an adaptation of this plant to prevent the loss of water that occurs through the pores in the leaves called stomata. Since a cactus has no leaves, it carries out photosynthesis with its green stem. So, the food for the cactus plant is made in its green stem. Just like stem and leaves, the roots of the cactus are also adapted to the desert. The roots are spread out wide and deep into the ground. This helps the plants to absorb more and more water from the ground. With the help of all these adaptations, a cactus survives in deserts. In the same way, other desert plants are also adapted to the environment. Let's recap. Desert plants have some special adaptations that help them to survive in the dry conditions of the desert. A cactus plant is adapted to the desert by having a thick and green stem to store water, a waxy coating on stem to prevent loss of water, leaves that are reduced to spines to prevent loss of water through stomata. The roots are spread out wide and deep into the ground to absorb more and more water.
have followed it. If you have any doubts, you can contact me through my number, message me through WhatsApp number. Keep yourself safe, healthy, and also study well, children. Bye.